Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Our mission here is, well, to sift through a stack of sources, pull out the essential nuggets, and really arm you with a truly well-informed perspective on complex topics.
That's the goal.
And today, we're plunging into one of India's most perplexing and, frankly, chilling modern crime cases, the Kudathai cyanide killings.
Right?
And the woman right at the center of it all, Jolly Joseph.
It's a deeply unsettling one.
Our goal for this deep dive is to try and unravel this extraordinary story. I mean, how did a series of 6 mysterious deaths right within one family, spanning 14 years,
Yeah.
how did that go undetected for so long?
Yeah.
We'll be digging into the intricate layers of deception, the complex alleged motives, and the chilling psychological profile behind a life that, honestly, on the surface, just seemed utterly ordinary. We've pulled together insights from, police investigations, psychological analyses, legal reports, even the public discussions that just gripped India surrounding this case. So yeah, buckle up.
What's truly remarkable and unsettling about this case is precisely that point you raise. We're talking about an alleged serial killer who operated with shocking stealth.
All right.
Not in the shadows of society, but right inside her own immediate family circle over more than a decade. It really forces us to confront how drastically our perceptions of those closest to us can differ from a hidden, disturbing reality.
Yeah.
It's a powerful lesson in human psychology and, well, trust.
And what a stark contrast it was. When you looked at Jolly Joseph, what the community saw, it was just a picture of normalcy, even like virtue. Our sources describe her as a jolly and friendly soul, someone seen as kind, welcoming, a good woman, caring, and even pious, apparently quite active in church activities.
Right.
This was the public face she presented to her community in Kudathai.
Yeah.
What does that tell us, just in broad strokes, about how such a facade can be so effectively built and, maintained?
Yeah. It immediately suggests a meticulously engineered persona. I mean, for someone to be seen as so jolly and friendly while allegedly harboring such dark intentions, it speaks volumes about a profound disconnect.
It's a huge disconnect.
Between internal reality and external presentation, exactly. This ability to project an image that just flat out contradicts one's actions is, well, it's a hallmark of certain psychological profiles. It allows individuals to operate under the radar, especially, in close-knit communities where trust is often implicit.
Yeah.
And once you start peeling back the layers, the alleged deception is truly breathtaking, just the scope of it.
It really is.
For instance, Jolly claimed she had an MCOM degree, right?
Yeah.
Implying a high level of education.
Yes.
But the reality is, our sources confirm she was actually a first-year college dropout. And what's even more astonishing, for 14 years, she faked a job as a lecturer at the prestigious National Institute of Technology, Calicut, NIT.
She'd leave home daily, go through the motions of a professional life, sometimes apparently just sitting in the college canteen, keeping up this elaborate charade for over a decade.
It's not just lying, is it? It's a total commitment to a fabricated reality. Just think about the sheer mental energy needed to sustain that lie, day in, day out, for 14 years.
Yeah.
This goes way beyond casual deception. It suggests a really deep-seated pattern of pathological lying. And what's particularly insightful here is how she leveraged societal expectations, the respect people give a college lecturer, the image of a pious woman, to just solidify her credibility and deflect any suspicion.
And her alleged devout spiritual life you mentioned. A local reverend actually disputed her frequent church attendance, said she wasn't even a member of the diocese, rarely visited.
Right, another crack in the facade.
And to add to this history, former college classmates apparently reported her involvement in a theft way back in 1988. Hints at a long-standing pattern of, let's say, questionable actions well before these later events.
Yeah.
So the sheer scale of her fabricated life is just astounding.
It is.
What does this tell us about the societal cues we often rely on? How easily they can be manipulated, even in a close-knit community.
It reveals a pretty common blind spot in human trust, I think. We're sort of wired to give people the benefit of the doubt, aren't we? Especially those who present as normal or pious. Her ability to weave these narratives, despite inconsistencies, just highlights how effectively a person with that kind of superficial charm can manipulate their environment. It makes you question how deeply we actually scrutinize those around us. What fundamental assumptions do we make about character based purely on outward appearances?
It's a sobering thought. And this meticulously constructed web of lies, it eventually became tangled up with this terrifying trail of tragedies. Let's transition now to the timeline of the unnatural deaths within the Ponomatum family. What's chilling is just how slow, how insidious these alleged crimes were, starting way back in 2002.
And this raises a really important question. Why didn't these deaths immediately trigger suspicion within the family or the community?
Yeah, why not?
Well, several factors likely contributed. Initially, no foul play was alleged, right? And culturally, there's often a deep reluctance in India to conduct postmortems.
Okay.
It can be seen as a violation of the body, sort of an affront to the deceased's dignity. And crucially, hospitals aren't actually obligated to report suspicious deaths without a formal complaint from family or police.
Ah.
So these elements, combined with Jolly's trusted position within the family, it created a perfect storm, really, for these tragedies to go unquestioned for years.
It's a truly grim timeline, punctuated by what were initially just dismissed as natural causes.
Indeed. It began with Anama Thomas, Jolly's mother-in-law. She was 57 back in 2002. She died after consuming some mutton soup prepared by Jolly.
The soup.
Yeah. Her death was attributed to a heart attack. Despite a pretty crucial detail, she'd collapsed after drinking soup just a few months before that and had actually been revived. And one source alleges a key discrepancy here, claiming Jolly used dog kill poison, probably a pesticide or something like that, from a veterinary hospital for Anama. Even tested it on a family dog first, apparently. Not cyanide in this instance.
That's specific. And the motive?
Police allege Jolly wanted to eliminate Anama, who was seen as the respected decision-maker of the house. Apparently, Anama doubted her postgraduate claims and was pushing her to get a proper job.
Okay, so removing the authority figure.
Yeah.
Then 6 years later, 2008, Anama's husband, Tom Thomas, Jolly's father-in-law, he died at 66. Collapsed in the bathroom, also declared a heart attack victim, no postmortem conducted. And what's incredibly telling is, right after his death, Jolly produces this unsigned forged will, allegedly giving most of the property to herself and her husband, Roy.
Yeah, the timing is stark. His death was allegedly motivated by a severe fallout. Tom had sold some properties and intended to give the money to his other children. Jolly supposedly feared this would leave her and Roy with, well, nothing. Some sources indicate cyanide was used in this murder, which contrasts with that dog kill poison claim for Anoma. It just adds to the complexity of figuring out the early forensic picture.
Then, 2011, Roy Thomas, Jolly's first husband, he dies at 40. Found collapsed in the bathroom, seizures, frothing from the mouth. Classic poisoning signs.
Exactly. And this time, a post-mortem was actually conducted, and it revealed traces of cyanide in his body. Clear evidence.
So, case closed, right? Murder investigation.
You'd think so.
Right.
But incredibly, Jolly managed to convince the police it was suicide.
How? With cyanide confirmed.
She blamed it on his known alcoholism and financial issues. This is where her manipulation skills seem incredibly effective. She likely capitalized on the existing stigma around Roy's struggles, wove this plausible narrative of despair that the police, maybe looking for an easy explanation, just accepted.
Wow.
Her calm demeanor, her seemingly grief-stricken act, plus that cultural reluctance we talked about, it allowed her to just deflect suspicion, and the case was closed.
Unbelievable. But the web of suspicion must have started tightening somewhere.
It did. A critical victim came in 2014, Matthew Menjadil. He was Anama's brother, Roy's uncle. Died at 68. Collapsed after Jolly allegedly gave him poison-laced whiskey.
And his motive for being targeted.
He was suspicious. He was suspicious about Roy's death and was actively insisting on a second post-mortem examination for Roy, so he became a direct threat to her secret. Simple as that.
He had to go.
Essentially. And tragically, 2014 saw another death. This time, Shaju's 2-year-old daughter, Alfine Shaju, died suddenly. Jolly was present. Initially attributed to choking on food.
A 2-year-old.
Yeah. While some sources later found cyanide traces, there's also speculation, particularly in online discussions, that Jolly maybe just didn't want the responsibility of caring for a baby.
Wow.
Saw her as an obstacle to marrying Alfine's father, Shaju.
That's chillingly pragmatic if true. Just eliminating an inconvenience.
It introduces that element, yes. And this disturbing pattern continued, really reaching its climax in 2016 with the death of Siliwantu Shaju, Shaju's wife, Alfine's mother.
Right, the woman whose husband Jolly eventually married.
Precisely. Silly was 41. She collapsed and died literally in Jolly's lap at a dental clinic. After drinking water, or maybe taking a capsule provided by Jolly, showed the same signs. Seizures, froth.
And less than a year later?
Less than a year later, Jolly married Silly's widowed husband, Shaju. The alleged motive seems brutally clear. Mary Shawju, who was a teacher with a stable income and secured her financial future and the social status she seemed to crave.
The pattern of sudden deaths within the Panamatum family was grim enough, but it looks like Jolly's alleged actions might have spread even further.
That's what's even more chilling. Sources indicate that many relatives living in other districts experienced severe illness after eating food Jolly had prepared.
Seriously. And they didn't report it?
They refrained from filing police complaints, apparently to avoid causing trouble for a family member. They had doubts, sure, but her friendly demeanor must have confused them, made it hard to reconcile their own sickness with her public image.
So what does this broader pattern suggest about the depth of her alleged criminality and, I guess, the community's response, or lack thereof?
It suggests two crucial things, I think. First, the scale of her alleged predation might have been much wider than just the 6 primary victims. It underscores a really calculating and persistent approach.
Right.
And second, it powerfully illustrates those significant cultural factors at play. The reluctance to suspect a close family member, especially one who maintains such a, convivial facade.
Jolly persona.
Exactly. Combine that with the general societal norms of avoiding official complaints or postmortems for deaths within the family. It just allowed this long period of, unchecked devastation. It speaks to a deep-seated aversion to publicly shame or accuse family, even when really suspicious illnesses or deaths keep happening.
So how did this elaborate, decades-long deception finally start to unravel? What was the tipping point?
The crucial turning point really came through the sheer persistence of Roy Thomas's brother, Rojo.
The brother in the U.S.
That's him. Rojo, based in the U.S., had continuous doubts after his brother Roy's death. His initial complaint, as we said, was closed as a suicide. But his second, much more determined complaint in June 2019, that's what triggered a deeper police probe.
What did he do differently?
He reportedly filed RTI applications, that's the Right to Information Act, letting citizens access government records. And through that, he found significant discrepancies between Jolly's account of Roy's last meal and the actual autopsy report findings.
Persistence pays off.
Absolutely. This unwavering persistence from Rojo was paramount. It led directly to the exhumation of all 6 bodies for detailed forensic examination. That's when things really started shifting. Suspicions of foul play began to get confirmed.
And the forensics.
By November 2019, a medical board certified that all 6 individuals had died due to poisoning. They specifically noted it could be due to a substance like cyanide. That finding was the major breakthrough. It shifted the entire narrative from, a string of unfortunate natural causes to deliberate murder.
And that inevitably led to the arrests and the confessions that followed.
Exactly. Jolly Joseph was arrested on October 5, 2019. She allegedly confessed then to using cyanide to kill the 6 family members.
Did she act alone in getting the poison?
No, 2 alleged accomplices were also arrested. M.S. Matthew, who was a distant relative, worked in a jewelry shop and was also her alleged lover. He apparently procured sodium cyanide for her for about Rs. 1,500 or maybe more.
And the excuse she gave him?
She allegedly asked for a stray dog or maybe rats. He got it from Praji Kumar, who was a goldsmith. Goldsmiths sometimes use cyanide.
Okay. And she confessed to others too?
Reportedly, yes. To a close friend named Johnson and even her own siblings, Bobby Joseph and Tommy Joseph. And then, while she was in police custody in February 2020, Jolly actually attempted suicide by biting her wrist.
Wow. Okay, so confessions, accomplices. But then things got complicated with the forensics again, didn't they?
They did. This is where it gets fascinating and legally challenging. The Central Forensic Science Laboratory, the CFSL, later certified no presence of poison or cyanide in the exhumed samples of 4 victims.
4 out of 6. Which ones?
Sanama Thomas, Tom Thomas, the first 2 victims, plus Alphine Shaju, the little girl, and Matthew Mangidio, the uncle who was suspicious. And this was consistent with earlier regional lab findings, too.
Okay, Jolly's defense lawyer must have seized on that, argued it was a huge setback for the prosecution.
Understandably, yes. If 4 of the 6 bodies show no poison, how reliable is the case, especially with bodies exhumed years, even over a decade after death?
So what was the prosecution's response?
That's a crucial question. The former investigating officer, K.G. Simon, maintained that these results were, in his words, unlikely to affect the case significantly.
Why? How could it not affect the case?
His argument was basically that bodies that are 10, 15 years old are highly unlikely to retain detectable traces of substances like cyanide. It degrades relatively quickly, due to chemical breakdown, environmental factors in the grave. Right.
He stressed that the natural evidence, by which he meant the circumstantial evidence, witness statements, the consistent pattern of these suspicious deaths, was incredibly strong. And crucially, cyanide had previously been confirmed in the samples of the two more recently deceased, Roy Thomas and Silly Shaju.
Ah, okay, so they have clear forensic proof for two of them.
Exactly. So the prosecution's case really relies on a combination. The clear forensic evidence in those two cases, the compelling circumstantial evidence across all 6 deaths, and of course, Jolly's alleged confessions to multiple people.
So it's not just about the lab results, it's a crucial insight into the challenges of cold cases like this. Physical evidence decays, but patterns. Patterns can persist.
Precisely. Circumstantial patterns can become paramount in the pursuit of justice when physical traces are gone.
Okay, so if we look beyond the methods, the how-to, and the forensic challenges, what truly drove these calculated acts? Let's dig into the alleged motives. What did Jolly Joseph stand to gain, according to the sources? Well, primarily, financial gain seems to be a huge driving force. We're talking inheritance, property disputes, securing the family's wealth, forging wills like we saw with Tom Thomas's property.
Funny.
Definitely a big part. But beyond that, a desire for control and a specific kind of lifestyle played a massive role. She allegedly eliminated anyone who questioned her authority or interfered with her plans, driven by a desire for maybe an extravagant life, certainly social status.
Right. The NIT lecturer lie fits that.
Exactly. And this included getting rid of her unemployed first husband, Roy. He was seen as a financial burden and emotional strain. Getting rid of him cleared the path to marry Shaju, the teacher, with the steady income.
So it wasn't just about the money itself, but about orchestrating her ideal life, her desired status. What about convenience? And maybe retaliation?
Absolutely. Convenience and retaliation seem critical too. Removing obstacles, whether it was Alphine, the child, or Silly, Shaju's wife, it was necessary to achieve her desired relationship and that financial stability with Shaju.
Just clearing the path.
Yes. And we see the clear retaliatory motive against Matthew, the uncle, retaliating against him for his persistence in investigating Roy's death. This whole pattern of behavior, it's eerily consistent with observations of female serial killers.
How so?
They often employ poison, they frequently target family or close acquaintances, and their motives are very often rooted in things like financial gain or convenience. Getting rid of inconvenient people, it's often different from the sexual or sadistic impulses sometimes seen in male serial killers.
And if we connect this to the broader societal context, didn't you mention a police study in Kerala?
Yes, quite startling. It noted 70 murders in just 59 days in Kerala around that time. And get this, 30 were committed by family members and 50 occurred within families.
Wow.
The study attributed this trend to things like eroding family bonds, substance abuse, mental health issues. It really reflects some of the underlying dynamics that we've seen at play in this Kudathai case, doesn't it? Highlights a disturbing trend of violence within, domestic spheres.
It really does. The Kudathai case, while maybe extraordinary in its scale and how long it went on, sadly isn't entirely isolated when you view it through that lens of family-related crime.
No, it underscores the vulnerabilities that can rise when trust within family units just breaks down and when underlying psychological issues or pathological behaviors go unchecked for so long.
The Kudathai cyanide killings, it represents just an astonishing, chilling, deep dive into layers of deception, hidden motives, and these calculated actions within what should have been the safest of circles,
Yeah.
family. It's a story that really forces us to question our assumptions about those we think we know best.
And as of now, where does the case stand legally?
Jolly Joseph remains in custody. Trials are ongoing for multiple charges: murder, criminal conspiracy, forgery. Her bail pleas have been repeatedly rejected by the Kerala High Court, which recognizes the sheer gravity of the allegations.
Understandably.
The case has, quite rightly, captured national and international attention. It's become one of India's most infamous modern serial killings.
Which leaves us with this important, lingering question, I think, for all of us.
Yeah.
How easily can a deeply deceptive life be hidden within a close-knit community, within a family, even when repeated tragedies keep happening?
Yeah.
What does this case really tell us about the hidden vulnerabilities in our own social systems? And maybe our human tendency to just trust the familiar, even when patterns of suspicion start to emerge? It's a stark reminder, isn't it? Sometimes the most dangerous threats hide in plain sight.